Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another live stream. Have I got some fascinating things to share with you guys in this live stream, so stick around, don't go anywhere, and make sure you hit the like button. When you hit the like button, all it does is push the video out there, at least it's supposed to, a little bit farther. I really appreciate that. And I thank you in advance. Strout of New Mexico having coffee with common sense. I love it. What's going on, guys? As you can see, the banner here that I've got on the screen right now, I've got a lot of things I want to share with you guys. A mysterious green blob that has showed up via satellite deep in the southern Indian Ocean. Are you serious right now, AZ Watchwoman? Star Family member? You can't make this stuff up. If you guys want to become a Star Family member, by all means do so. The link is down below in the description box. You're looking at right here Mount Rainier, the anomalous activity that's been detected over there, the volcanic eruption down in Indonesia, another huge spike in the Schumann resonance, and yet another huge eruption off of today, the backside of the sun, and we're going to start with that right now. Here we go to the stereo ahead spacecraft using the COR2 instrument. Check it out, looking at the side of the sun. This satellite is positioned in front of the Earth, looking at the sun from the right-hand side. You're going to see two eruptions that occurred last night, and then you're going to see one that occurred just a couple of hours ago. Another high-speed CME. This was not Earth-directed, but if it was, we would probably be looking at a very strong geomagnetic storm, but we're not. Right here's the CME, and I'm sure that was instigated by possibly a solar flare. But the thing of it is, with the backside of the sun, we don't have instrumentation back there measuring different types of activity, especially solar flares. Maybe someday we will, I don't know, but right now we don't. We have visuals, and this is a visual right here of, once again, a high-speed CME ejecting off of the backside of the sun. So the solar activity continues. It hasn't slowed down much, and even though the Earth-facing side of the sun is blank, there was a large filament eruption last night, as you can see over here on the SOHO right there, the LASCO C2. Two simultaneous filament eruptions. Right there's one, right there's the other. The sun basically releasing huge amounts of plasma. But again, Earth was not in the line of any of this type of debris, so nothing necessarily to worry about there or with this one here. But we are in solar maximum, and we can expect this type of activity to continue for at least the next year. I mean, things have really cranked up. People are talking about their ears ringing, as I showed in this banner right here. This is a spike at this column right here. That is a Schumann resonance spike of over 40 hertz today, consistently for 2 hours straight. People reporting ringing of the ears and you know, a little bit of anxiousness, their pets acting unusual, and they've connected the dots. Whenever the Schumann is active and the graph is elevated, they've noticed that their pets are acting a little bit unusual. Just some little pesky things, nothing major. You know, we've all dealt with anxiety at one point in our lives or another for a variety of different reasons, and some people connect solar activity like we're seeing right here with anxiety and different things, and it's an ongoing field of study that we're just not completely 100%. You know, I've connected the dots. I did a study myself right here years ago, like almost 10 years ago, the sun and you. I connected the dots because I wanted to learn, and I understood the horsepower behind CMEs and solar activity and how it can affect people. And absolutely it can. And not only do CMEs affect people and all living creatures on Earth, they affect volcanoes, I've learned over the years, and we've seen two eruptions, not necessarily two. We saw a large eruption of a volcano down in Indonesia. Do I have that? Let's see, I've got it somewhere. I've got so many different windows open right now. I wanted to talk about the ongoing earthquake situation over here in at Yellowstone. Here's what's going on at Mount Rainier. This was talked about on a news station last night, the activity over here on the western flank, and they're saying that yes, this seismograph is detecting activity over on the west side of the volcano, Mount Rainier. And here you're looking at the most recent data However, they're saying that this very well could be some sort of a instrument glitch. They're not necessarily saying that, and I never said either. I shared this with you guys yesterday. I didn't say that the volcano was going to erupt. Absolutely not. I know better than that, because this is not proof that the volcano is going to erupt. This is nothing more than proof of activity on the western flank. That's it. Okay, is it activity with the antenna? Maybe so. Is it activity of magma on the move? Absolutely, it could be, because volcanoes, after all, do have magma chambers, and this one is no different. It has a magma chamber. It's not quite as big as the magma chamber underneath the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera, which is many miles wide, but nevertheless, it has magma. It is magma when it's underground. It becomes lava once it breaches the surface of the ground. Has any of that stuff happened yet over here at Mount Rainier? No, not yet, but it happened down in Indonesia, and all of this activity is following the recent very powerful geomagnetic storms. Look at the volcano responding down in Indonesia, sending a plume of gas, ash, and smoke many miles up into the sky. Unbelievable. Talking about blocking out UV, right there is a UV blocker, and that'll block the UV out for many days. Once that ash decides to stop lingering in the sky, it will eventually fall to the ground. But it does get caught up in the jet stream. It can and sometimes will travel thousands of miles around the Earth. Airplanes have to divert their traffic away from these very tall, thick, dense plumes. So that's what's going on down in Indonesia. That's what's going on at Mount Rainier, and this is what's going on at the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera. Check this out. We noticed this yesterday. There was a series of swarms in the northwestern quadrant of the caldera. Here's one, and here's another one, and here's another one. This is highly unusual, and it makes me wonder if this is not evidence of the geomagnetic storm being detected up here at the supervolcano caldera, because I've followed this for years. I've followed the seismographs for years, and I noticed a pattern. I connected the dots. There's activity on these seismographs, albeit small, but nevertheless, there is activity at times following geomagnetic storms at the supervolcano seismographs. It's no coincidence. And not only that, seismographs around the world. And yes, these are small earthquakes, but that's a lot of earthquake activity near a supervolcano caldera. So there you have it. Still ongoing to this day. There were the orange circles you see are earthquakes that have occurred within the last 24 hours. The yellow circles you see are earthquakes that have occurred in the last 7 days. And we know what's happened in the last 7 days. We've seen a very powerful geomagnetic storm rock the Earth. And let me show you guys something. Here's another look at that far side CME. This was a high-speed CME. More than likely was associated with a solar flare, but again, we don't have any way to measure the activity on the backside of the sun right now. I don't know what this was right here. I'm assuming this is just some sort of an anomaly right there. Something that could have possibly hit the spacecraft. I'm assuming that's what that is. That is a large, I don't know, maybe it's an ion or something, but that's a very high-speed CME. Once again, it should not be directed at the Earth, being visible like that on the SOHO on the stereo. This is a GOES 19. This is an entirely different wavelength. This shows us a different perspective of the sun and the many layers of the sun's atmosphere. Right now, it's not showing too much of anything, but this is on the Earth-facing side of the sun. So we're not looking at what's going on the back side of the sun. The LASCOs are also on the Earth-facing side of the sun. Okay, guys, let's get to it. I know you've been waiting patiently on the mysterious green anomaly that I found down in the southern hemisphere just a little while ago. This is another look at something that happened last night, a huge filament. That's what that is. That is a filament eruption that erupted last night off the southern hemisphere of the sun. All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do this. A mysterious green presence appears on satellite deep in the southern hemisphere, spanning thousands of miles between the famous Madagascar and, of course, the highly mysterious Antarctica. Here we go. November 10th, 2025. What's going on here? This is not an aurora. This is spanning actually just north of Madagascar. Check this out. This is wild. I've used this instrument also since its conception, and I've never seen anything like this on here before. You can see the green going all the way up north of Madagascar. So this is easily 3,000 miles, okay? This is November the 10th. This is pre-geomagnetic storm, okay? So this is not aurora, and as you can see, this is on the daylight side of you can see the sun setting over here, or sunrise right here. This is after sunrise. Sun's up. The sun has been up in this location for a couple of hours. What is this satellite trying to tell us? Is the Earth leaking something? That's the 13th. I'm stepping this forward in, not in order, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, all the way up to today. Watch this. Look how green that gets. Are you serious right now? Is the Earth leaking something? I mean, really, what is going on? That's deep in the southern hemisphere. Look at that. That is wild. And if that were aurora, obviously we wouldn't be able to see it in the daytime sky. What is going on, man? Here's another look at it. The 10th, the 11th, the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, all the way up through today. And we're waiting. It's just now sunrise down in the southern hemisphere in Australia, New Zealand. So we're waiting on today's imagery to show up and see if this green presence is still there. That again spans over 3,000 miles from Antarctica all the way up to Madagascar. Isn't that wild? You have got to be kidding me. You know, nothing surprises me anymore. You know, if you just pay attention, look around, you won't be surprised at things. I mean, it is just absolutely bizarre, the things that go on a day-to-day basis. And here we are back over at Mount Rainier. This is today, the 20th, and you can see whatever was going on is slowing down a little bit now. It lasted for a period of 4.5 days. These readings right here are definitely much quieter. The frequency, whatever was causing this frequency, and that's what this is. This is evidence of a frequency. It's slowing down. So it's either magma subsiding, going back down to the magma chamber, or there's something else going on here that's completely unrelated. I never said that this was going to erupt. There was a news article. They put it on the news station last night up in Seattle, talking about this image right here going viral on the internet last night. And they weren't talking about me. Daily Mail saw that I posted this video about this particular anomaly. Daily Mail took it a step farther and said that this was evidence of an eruption. I did not. I know better. Okay, I've been doing this a long time. I know this is not evidence of an eruption or an imminent eruption, and I would not say that. They did, yeah. So that's what you get. Maybe next time, ask me before you just help yourself to something that I found and put your own spin on it that wasn't even true. And yes, they called out Daily Mail in the news article last night on the news station out of Seattle. They didn't mention my name because I never said it was going to erupt. I just said this was highly unusual activity on the western flank of Mount Rainier, showing up on a seismograph. Plain and simple, and that's just the truth. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Nothing more, nothing less. It could be a variety of things. Okay, and that's exactly what I said, and that's what the scientist said. The scientist that did the interview last night, that's what he said. And he's thinking that maybe, just maybe, this is being caused by a frozen antenna that sends and receives signals that, you know, make these particular graphs. And he could be right. I don't know. All I know is this is an anomaly and it's not normally there. What's going on, Graham? An excess of protons and electrons are producing an increase of neon in our upper atmosphere. Also, yeah, I saw the quake in San Francisco. Very possible, Graham. That is very possible. This started just prior to the geomagnetic storm. And when you look at that, you say, wow, that's aurora. But then you're like, wait a minute. in the daylight? Come on, man. Just north of Antarctica, deep in the southern Indian Ocean, goes up parallel to Madagascar. That is wild. Speaking of wild, yesterday's highly anticipated, ultra disappointing release of the new photos of Atlas. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's an image of Atlas from a professional astrophotographer down on the surface of the Earth. Thank goodness for men like this, Michael Jaeger out of Austria. Look at how close he got to Atlas. This is Atlas less than 10 days ago. What we saw yesterday from NASA were little specks. Probably not much bigger than that right there. And they were proud. So thank you, Michael, for what you do, showing us Atlas here, and it's 5 unusual little sprigs that are coming off of it. Still no visible tail. So I got a pair of binoculars setting over there that could probably pull in better images than they shared yesterday. I'm just saying, I'm being honest. Everybody was disappointed. Even over here at spaceweather.com, they were saying the same thing. Thank goodness for amateur astronomers down here on the Earth, because what NASA showed us yesterday was nothing more than fuzzy little blobs. And unless that was an attempt to tell us that, hey, you know, whatever's going on up there, we're not going to show you and we can't talk about it. So that's kind of the way I'm taking it, because it was pitiful. It was absolutely pitiful. Amateur astronomers with 5-inch telescopes, 5-inch telescopes, had better imagery than what they shared yesterday. It was absolutely, it was just embarrassing. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. But anyway, guys, I'm going to hop off here while my voice is still good. I want to thank everybody for joining today. Make sure you hit that like button before you depart. That helps send the video out there a little bit farther. Once again, a massive green anomaly of unknown origin been hanging around down here deep in the southern hemisphere in the southern Indian Ocean between Madagascar and Antarctica for almost 10 days now. Are you serious? What is going on? All right, guys, we're going to be monitoring this. We're going to be monitoring the volcanic activity, the earthquake activity at Yellowstone, and of course, the hyperactive sun that threw yet another very strong, impressive CME off the backside of the sun this time, right there. Not Earth directed, but it is solar maximum, and anytime this stuff can become Earth directed in a moment's notice. Right now, though, I'd say we're in pretty good shape as there's no sunspots or active regions facing the Earth right now as I do this video, but that could change tomorrow. We could see sunspot activity increase tomorrow, so we're watching that 24/7. We never turn it off. We're watching this around the clock. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a day while I still have my voice. Let me find my outro, because I've had people say, where's your intro? Where's your outro? Well, here it is. Today, we're going to go with the outro. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.